My 28 male sister, Becky, had a daughter, Abby, pre-tween. She didn't want Abby and signed over her parental rights to my other sister, Clara. All Clara needed to do was file the final paperwork for $2,000, but she never did. Therefore, the adoption was never completed legally. Abby's real dad, John, recently just married Becky. When Becky gave birth to Abby, they weren't together, and Becky basically told him she wasn't keeping the kid and gave him no say in it. But anyways, they're married now. Abby's around John a lot, and he's really beside himself now with the whole thing. He regrets not fighting for custody, and he fully intends to fight now, especially after finding out that the adoption was legally never completed or filed. He has legal grounds to do so. Not saying I agree with it, but at the same time, my sister brought this on herself. She had plenty of time to file the paperwork and just never did. Now Clara's running around in a panic because John made his intentions known. He wants, quote, his kid back. He hasn't filed, from my understanding. Therefore, my sister's trying to pull money together to complete the adoption before he can take that route. She asked me specifically for help because I offered years ago to cover the adoption fee because she kept putting it off, and she always declined my help. Becky never had John sign the birth certificate. She truly manipulated him to the fullest back then. He wanted his daughter even back then, but she told him no. But Becky's been taking care of Abby a lot lately. Even before she got back with John, she started having Abby over a lot and turned her life around. But she never stepped on Clara's toes because this was no longer her kid, if that makes sense. Becky's showing a lot of strong emotions that suggest that she, too, regrets giving Abby away. So I think she also regrets it, but feels she has no rights here, understandably. Abby is partially nonverbal autistic. From what I've seen, and I'm around a lot, Abby will do everything she can to communicate her desire to see John. He takes her out a lot. He even brought her to Disney. On the other hand, Clara doesn't do much with her. I mean, when Abby's home, she just sits around all day and watches TV while her mom, adoptive, just sits at the computer. I'm not going to help Clara now. I have a family of my own, and my own kids to worry about especially. I look at my kids, and if I had adopted, the fee would be the first thing I'd pay off. Clara says I'm a heartless idiot because I won't help her keep her kid. Not the idiot. I'd stay as far away from this as possible. I highly doubt the $2,000 will help Clara now. John has every right to challenge it, even if she files tomorrow, since he didn't consent to the adoption in the first place. You'd just be throwing that money away. And as you said, you have your own obligations. Agreed. For 8 years, she couldn't be arsed to file the papers, not even when you offered to pay the fee. It does say something about her priorities and commitment. She's been asking for something like this to happen, and she's now shocked that it finally did happen. Grab your popcorn and stay on the sidelines as Clara's self-created crisis plays out. You are the idiot. Has anyone asked Abby about her feelings and wants and needs? And Clara was her mom for 8 years. She was in pure panic mode because she doesn't want to lose her child. The bio parents aren't wrong for wanting visitation, but are wrong, in my opinion, to want custody. And to be honest, putting your opinion into an already messy situation will only make everything more volatile. And John's not behaving as a parent, but as a fun uncle. Abby wanting to be around him is normal when someone's fun, and it's very easy to be fun when you're not always there. My ex-wife, 34, and I, 38 male, divorced. As part of the separation, I moved out of our 4-bed home. Under the divorce settlement, we agreed that the alimony payments of $12.40 a month I was paying her and she waived child support and further alimony claims. I keep paying the mortgage and essential bills on the 4-bedroom until our 2 daughters, teen and preteen, are 19, and when it's sold, she gets 60%. I take on all existing debts. I moved into a small house share, the cheapest in the area. Unfortunately, this means I can't have them overnight and have to go back to the 4-bed to see them. She wants me to immediately use the money I'm no longer paying her to rent a 2 or 3-bed and have the girls some nights. While I would really like to do this and wish I could, it's financially difficult right now due to my existing debts. These debts are around $45K, with 2 credit cards and 2 loans. I recently paid off a $10K overdraft. She did most of the spending that racked up these debts, including, without my consent, a boob job, soon after we agreed to separate the joint account that was already in overdraft. I then closed that account and got a repayment plan, which I've just finished, but I still have the 4 other debts. I've explained to her that while I really would like to have 50-50 childcare now, I want to use the money I no longer pay her to pay down the debt first and not use it to get a place immediately. While I could just about afford the place now, in 2 years, my mortgage costs will increase significantly due to rising interest rates and a second equity loan. I've told her that I'll just get a place when it's financially less risky. Still, she's demanding it happens immediately and applying to the courts to force the issue. Am I the idiot for not putting the girls first? She earns a low wage, enough for food, but she earns less than the current mortgage on the 4-bed. I would much prefer to be cleanly separated and split childcare equally, but she still, in reality, financially is dependent on me. While I would have enough to rent a 2-bed, I want to pay off the debts, so I've got a buffer. I earn a good wage, but as a contractor, so I only get paid the days I actually work. I've not taken any vacation time outside of public holidays in the last 2 years. Darn, thanks for reminding me to die before getting a divorce. If she's taking you to court to change the agreements, I'd say time to lawyer up, because this divorce agreement sounds absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible indeed. Taking on all the debts on his own? What a crap deal. I also wonder why it's mostly the guy who must move out. Screw it. I'd stay in the dang house I'm paying the mortgage on. OP needs a better lawyer. Dude, is her new boyfriend your lawyer, the one she got a boob job for? Plus, get a good lawyer immediately. You shouldn't be paying for her post-separation boob job. No lawyer in the world would have stood for that. Wow, you got hammered on this deal. Agree. It sounds like you got the short stick on every facet of this divorce. Not only do you get all the debt and the mortgage payments, but you only get 40% of the equity on sale. I guess that's a good deal for getting away from this person. Your ex clearly has no idea or cares about finances and is only interested in having her free time. You're trying to set yourself up so you can set up your girls. I think you're doing the best you can. I, 30 female, have been with Jeff for 12 years now. For the past 6 years, I've desperately wanted to flip houses. I wanted to do this since I was a kid, but these past 6 years, I really started to get a bit fixated on it. Every single year, I bring it up to my partner, and every single year he says, "That would be fun," and he'll help me search for fixer-uppers, but it's like he goes out of his way entirely to turn me against every single property that I want that's within budget. Then after a month or 2 of searching with me, he'll find reasons why it can't happen this year. Last year really sucked. I have all my own money saved. Honestly, it's not like I need him financially or even his approval, but given that this is the love of my life, I do want his approval, you know? So I've just sucked it up and given in to the, well, it probably won't happen this year, but it can be our 5-year plan talks. But again, last year sucked because I found a property that I was absolutely in love with. I wanted it in the worst of ways. It was an old Victorian home with 6 bedrooms, built-in bookshelves, and dressers, etc., etc. It was only $6K. It needed work, obviously. The electricity was bad and the plumbing was bad, but there was no water damage, and the roof, beams, and frame were solid. I know how to do plumbing, but electricity would have been an issue. That would have been a thing I hired someone to do, and it would have cost a good penny. But the place was only $6K. I had well over $80K saved. I pulled numbers from the surrounding homes, and the RSV was roughly $190K for that area. I wanted it desperately, and he found a reason for me not to get it, i.e., it's in a bad part of town. so I didn't get it. Well, I stepped away from it all. I got a bit discouraged and just stopped looking. But I went on last week, and that property was still listed. Same price. So I told him I was getting it. I want it. He tried telling me it was a bad idea. There was too much work that needed to be done. I have construction experience, but he only has chef experience. I went and looked at it anyways. I determined that with my connections, dad and uncle who both do construction, another uncle who does foundations, me who does plumbing, it would only run me top dollar of $50K to renovate. I signed on the property and closed the same day for cash. He's mad at me for doing it and thinks it's a dumb investment. Edit. We do not have merged finances. It's my money going into the place. I understand house flipping is often looked down on by some people, and I'm not doing it as a get-rich-quick thing. The profit would just be a bonus. I truly just love renovating, and it's something I've always wanted to do. If I fail, which I might, I won't cry about it. Not the idiot. Flipping houses is hard work and takes real skill to be able to do it quickly and low cost. His reluctance is probably him knowing that he doesn't have the skill nor the interest to spend the next year working on this house just to sell. It is, however, your money and time, so you can do what you like. Don't let a Debbie Downer ruin your dream. Keep on living. You are the idiot. Any property that you can buy for $6K is not a property you want. Just the value of the land alone should be well above that. It might be that there's either some sort of contamination or soil subsidence happening on the lot. Or more likely, it's slated for a future expansion project for the city and is under risk of eminent domain. In my state, nearly all properties in that range are about to lose all or most of their lot to road expansion or wide-range clearance under the comp plan. The only question is when. I guess I have to say everyone's the idiot here with the info given. You have the right to use your money however you see fit. However, your partner's clearly uncomfortable with it, and I suspect that you're leaving out some reasonable objections. Do you two already own your house? I wouldn't be happy if my partner planned to invest $50K into a property while we were stuck in an apartment. I'd be even more upset if that property was in such bad shape that it wasn't sold in a year at only $6K. Also, what happens if you run into surprise cost, or if you can't sell the place after dumping all your savings into it? Will you still be waving the separate expenses banner when you're $20K in the hole and it's time to pay rent? It seems like you two should break up over this, either way. You're clearly not financially compatible. I am actually only 29, and I felt like my sister, niece's mom, did some pretty good salesmanship to all of our siblings. There are 8 of us, and made everyone promise to gift my niece $1,000 when she graduated high school. I can come up with the money, but it also means that I wasn't able to book a vacation that I've been wanting to take for a long time. I was okay with that because the implication was that money would be used for tuition and living expenses. I finally saw my niece yesterday with the full intention of giving her the check. I asked her if she was excited to start college in the fall, and she said she wasn't going. Okay, that's a surprise. So I asked her what she was planning on doing. She literally said, "Oh, nothing." And I said, "Oh, you mean nothing like getting a job?" And she said, "No, literally nothing." I think she tried to jump past the awkwardness by asking me if I wanted to see the design her boyfriend made for her tattoo. It was elaborate, to say the least. It was tacky as heck, to say the most. It looked exactly like a tattoo a 21-year-old dating an 18-year-old would design to mark his territory. She then blurted out that my $1,000 was all she was waiting on before she could start. I didn't mention that I had the check, and I didn't give it to her. After I left, I called my sister, and I asked her if she knew what Vera's plans were. She said yes. I told her that I was really sorry, but I wasn't contributing. She accused me of breaking a promise. I accused her of not being honest with us. She said I was a witch, and I said to call me back if Vera decides to be productive. Then I'll come through with the gift. We said screw you and simultaneously hung up on each other. Am I the idiot? Edit. If I wasn't clear, the tattoo is $8,500. She's supposedly driving to San Francisco to go to a very popular artist. It'll go from the back of her neck, down her left side, and to the bottom of her foot. She wants to spend $8,500 on a lame tattoo designed by her boyfriend to mark her body as his, and her mother's not only going to go along with this, but is happy to scam her siblings out of $1,000 each to make it happen? That's some messed up crap going down. An $8,500 tattoo at 18 years old? Holy crap. Not the idiot. Go on the trip you thought you wouldn't be able to do. Wow. Not only is the neck pretty rough to get done, but the ribs are one of the worst places and most easily messed up bits because of ribs. Any artist will agree it's probably one of the worst locations to do. Also, sole of her foot. I've got a lot, and even I wouldn't dare go near my feet. A reputable artist would be extremely wary of doing something so massive, especially something designed by a boyfriend on someone so young, particularly if she doesn't already have multiple pieces. Get your siblings together immediately for a family discussion, minus your sister and niece. It has to be before they gift the money. This may be the crux of the matter. What exactly did your sister sell you on? Did she imply that the money would be used for educational purposes? If so, that's your out. An 18-year-old should not have a full body branding by the boyfriend, especially as he may not even be around by the time the final work is done. Please do talk to them. Hopefully, none of them have already given the money under those false pretenses. I would be equally upset if I was trying to help a family member get a jump start and instead funded something completely different than the original ask. Also, tell sister that you'll put the $1,000 in a trust fund for when Do-Nothing Becky needs laser tattoo removal treatments. My son, Caden, tween, is becoming quick friends with a new neighbor boy. Those two have been spending like 10 hours a day together. This boy has 3 other brothers. The youngest is his stepbrother, and the oldest has a totally different last name than the dad or stepmom. I've been in their house, and there are pictures of the dad and the 3 oldest boys from when they were babies. It's quite clear that the middle 2 boys are the dad's bio kids. The oldest does, but doesn't look like the dad, but calls him dad. I didn't want to be nosy, so I asked the dad about it yesterday, because I don't want to say the wrong thing. The dad got quite angry at me and said, "What difference does it make?" I apologized and said it wasn't my business. He was a bit rude about it, and I told my husband, and he said I was a witch and that I should text him a more proper apology because this might jeopardize our son's relationship with this boy. I totally feel ganged up upon. Edit. Neighbor would have been like 21 when the oldest was born, so obviously he isn't adopted. You are the idiot. I didn't want to be nosy, so yesterday I asked the dad about it. I haven't seen such a contradictory sentence in a while. How on earth did you think asking him whether or not his sons carried his DNA was not being nosy? It is, in fact, being nosy to make assumptions or ask about a parent's biological relationship with their kids. Hope that helps. I saw I'm not nosy and thought, oh yeah, here it comes. I suspect you asked in an intrusive way. I don't think you're close enough that it's any of your business whether there's adultery, adoption, infertility, remarriage, neglect, or a death in the family. I think the father's probably sick and tired of this kind of question by people with false, polite motives. And I think your husband is right that it risked your son's friendship. Exactly. I was on the fence because I believe no one's an idiot for being curious. Curiosity is perfectly normal. The fact that he got angry with OP tells me that she didn't inquire in a respectful and non-judgmental way. OP, mind your own business. Apologize for overstepping. I'm worried she'll try to apologize and only use that as an excuse to pry more. Good God, the level of contortion she's doing to justify herself in this story only further confirms the conclusion that you are the idiot. Yes, you are the idiot. But wait, there's more. You are the idiot.